and I'm going to ride that Angels team until I die. I talk about it. All right, we're rolling. BVSA Sports Show, episode 19. We have Matt, we have Verge. It's kind of, in a way, Christmas Eve for all of us right now. Let me explain why. It's March 1st, which means we can officially talk baseball. It's March 1st, so it's getting closer and closer to golf season for you. And I leave for Las Vegas tomorrow. So something going for each of us. I feel like every time we get on the show now, I'm like a day or two away from going on some kind of gambling trip, but I swear it's all warranted. Mohegan was work, Vegas is a bachelor party, and then next week we're going golfing. Just happens to be a casino in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
For March Madness.
For March Madness, too. Yeah. So all national holidays, in my opinion. Crazy. All right, so last time we were on the show with Gio, we talked football. That was kind of the last of it until something happens, until a piece falls, whether that's Rodgers or Carr, etc. I guess I can be happy and say Carson Wentz has been released, so I'm going to
trade of the first pick.
Or trade of the first pick.
That's coming.
We saw today that the number one pick, the Georgia guy, is now involved in that whole crash and everything, so his draft stock is going like this. So more to come from that, but today is about baseball. Matt wants his 30-second segment at the end about golf, and that's all we're going to do today. World Baseball Classic starts next Tuesday. Let's start with MLB and then segue into the World Baseball Classic towards the back end. I feel like we have to start with this new pitch clock, hitter's clock, whatever they call it, the new rules implemented this year. We're seeing it in spring training. We saw it happen with LSU first, I believe, where like the game ended on some kind of violation, and then it happened in the Red Sox game with a hitter who literally just like shrugged his shoulders.
He thought he was right.
Right. So like that dramatic effect, I guess, for a second of like, oh, was it me or was it the pitcher kind of thing? I hate it, and I'll leave it at that for now. Verge, I'd love to hear.
So I'm on the clock.
You're on the.
I have 20 seconds.
You're on the clock. Yeah, I'll make sure I'm looking at you at 8 seconds. The hitter has to look at you. Go ahead, take it away.
I mean, it's taken everything away from the hitters. This is now squarely pitcher benefit of I'm going to work at my pace. The hitter can't adjust to I just threw him a 1-1 slider and now he doesn't know what I'm coming back with. He's got to be in the box. He's got to be ready. The pitchers that work slow, they'll speed up naturally. Mm-hmm. But think about all the great moments in history of our game, and that it's a step out of the box, it's a deep breath, it's like finding yourself. Everything that like these guys have done their entire career, like that, it's now changed. Where the pitchers, for someone like Scherzer, who we saw the other day, calling his own game. Like he said, yeah, he was calling it, but when I had a feeling, I pressed buttons and told him what I wanted, what location. But for him, we're going to watch him just run through a lineup in 2 hours.
Yeah.
For hitters, they have no time to adjust, no time to think. Yep. You can't think about the scouting report that they take hours upon hours to review. Mm-hmm. It's going to go through a really weird phase where I don't want to completely jump down it. Much like any other rule, there will be adjustments. But I think playoffs will see either no clock or extended clock. We'll see some things down the road. But this first month of spring training, month of the season, once April hits, it's going to be weird. It's going to be an odd time in baseball.
So I'll take a different angle because you more so would know about it for the game aspect. But so when I went to school, we actually talked about this in one of my classes because I went for sports, right? Like we had stuff like this come up. We were talking about how fans of the game, it was tougher to watch because of blackouts and all that stuff. So they wanted to speed up the game. They felt like people would like enjoy it more if there was like that aspect to it because people think it takes too long, it's boring, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, we all love it, right? We all enjoy watching baseball. It's just part of our lives. But you have so many people that won't tune in because they're going to watch 3 pitches and now it's like a 2-1 count. And they're like, all right, man, I'm bored. Like nothing's happening. What are we doing? I don't feel like that clock is going to change much. I don't think you're going to get the younger fans that they're looking to get. They're looking for something that's fast-paced, that's got action all the time. Now, of course, you're going to have the people that are growing up with baseball and parents teaching them about it, that they're going to get into it, I'm sure. But I don't think you're going to gain new fans. I don't think it's going to be bringing in anyone new. Like, it's just going to be the same core fan base that you've had that I feel like, I don't know. I don't think the speeding up's going to change that.
Completely agree. The shift, the non-shifts will go for more offense, which will bring more fans in, not the other way around.
I definitely
That's
think
going to
that.
have more of an effect of who watches and who stays tuned, because all three of us know the amount of information that has to go through a 2-1 count.
Yeah.
It could be endless depending on the situation,
Oh, yeah.
the rest of the field.
Yep.
But we are all football fans. A lot of people that watch this are football fans. A 15-minute quarter is in 15 minutes. The amount of things that happen in a 15-minute quarter, but because people are getting hit or there's a deep ball,
There's always something.
there's always something. Where baseball, if you watch 3 straight full counts and one ends in a walk, one ends in a strikeout, and you're hoping someone puts the ball in play,
Yep.
more likely the end in shifts will do what the pitch clock is right now being geared towards.
Yeah, I have 15 different thoughts in my head right now. I'm trying to figure out how to like organize them all as you guys are talking. But what you just said about the shift and tied in with the bigger bases, which now it's 4.5 inches
So
closer, and you said it's
to
going to
make
lead
that.
to more stolen bases.
Yeah.
So those two things are going to fix it where there's more offense. I'm all for it. But isn't it like I'm pretty sure it's a stat. I don't know. I'm sure it fluctuates year to year, but it's something along the lines of 8 minutes of action in a baseball game.
Yeah, roughly.
8, call it 10, whatever. This isn't going to increase that, the pitch clocks and stuff. All it's going to do is deduct the final number by a half hour, right? We're seeing now spring training games are 2 hours and 30 minutes instead of 3. But every sport we watch, you guys watch, football, college football especially, basketball, hockey, they're all 3-hour games or more.
Yeah.
College football championship goes 4 hours, right?
There's
the
so
last
many
2 minutes of a
pauses.
basketball game takes 30 minutes sometimes, right? It's what we sign up for. It's what I don't say we like or don't like, but it's part of the sport that we love. So there's an extreme where we're seeing, I always botch the guy's name, the video that's been going out with Jose Altuve's inside the park home run from a wild card game like years ago.
Strop.
Pedro Strop, apparently in between 2 pitches, Jose Altuve hits an inside the park home run like 7 times. So for me, that's extreme. That's got to go
But that
in this
Pedro Strop
game.
moment, wasn't that, I haven't seen the video to say that, but wasn't that the playoff video you were talking about?
Yeah, it was a playoff video. Batter steps out. It's like it's that cat and mouse game, pitcher
Yeah,
and
there's
hitter.
a mental game to it.
Right. So to me, that is extreme, and you
Yeah.
need to cut that a little bit. But this, to me, is silly. Right? We watched it in spring training already. We're going to watch it in a big game in the regular season where a game ends because that dream. I think you were talking about the other day. That dream scenario that every kid goes in the batter's box. Oh, full count, bases loaded, 2 out, World Series, Game 7. This right?
Because of a clock.
Imagine that game ends because of the clock,
He didn't make
and then
eye
you have to
contact with the pitcher quick enough.
right.
Yeah, like that's.
And then you have to look at the umpire and see which way is it going, that it's pitcher or it's hitter, and it's just, I think it's a really bad look. And Verge, to your point, I watched one of my buddies send out a thing of all these new rules over the last 20 years and how everyone had the same exact reaction. Oh, this is going to ruin baseball. I think they said it with like the universal DH or interleague play or whatever, every rule.
With that, yeah.
So we'll give it a chance and hopefully they tweak. But it sounds to me like the no shift, and it sounds to me like the bigger bases can be good and lead to offense. But this one I'm not seeing.
The one rule I want to get rid of still is the extra innings runner at second.
Oh.
I will never get
I
behind that,
hated that.
for ending the game sooner, more
Yeah.
offense, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's artificial. It's more towards not real baseball than anything else.
Yep.
I'll go for robot umps with strike zones before I go for putting a guy who made the last out of the last inning at second base.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny too.
Like,
You say that too because last year I went to a game and it went 13 innings with someone on second every single time, and it didn't matter. We were there forever, and it was a guy on second every inning.
Brian Kenny wrote a book of like all the situations and the odds on scoring runs depending on outs and where the runner is. There's one way to win that game then if you're the away team, and one way to win that game if you're the home team in the 10th inning.
Mm-hmm.
If you just followed what that book said, tendency leads that
You have a
you'll
better
win that
chance of
game.
winning, yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you'll at least score that run, and they might score in the bottom half.
Go from there, yeah.
Teams don't do that, so it's not even like they're being efficient with the fact that they start the run at second base. So we want to talk about getting rid of a rule. Let the pitch clock play out for half a season.
See how it goes.
We've seen how stupid the runner at second base has been. Houston, Seattle went 18 innings. Did not matter.
Oh my god, I remember that game.
And there are a lot of people like us that love that. So for us, like that idea of free baseball, right, when the game goes into extra innings, whether you're at the ballpark or you're home, like we live for that. And
Yeah.
we're staying in our seats. We stayed to the final out. I remember like one of my best birthdays or one of my most memorable birthdays, we went to Philadelphia to watch the Mets play at Citizens Bank Park. The game went 14 innings. My whole family's like my sister and my mom, they're ready to leave. Even my dad was ready to leave. Me and my brother are locked in, like 12th
Yeah.
inning, 13th inning.
It's
We
like the
finally
build-up.
left. went home back to the hotel and watched the end of the game on TV. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, we should be there right now.
Yeah.
This is the 15th inning, and it was like 7-7. So it was like offense was going.
Well, honestly, that's one of my favorite memories too. Yankees Red Sox, 15-inning game in New York. My favorite pitcher, Josh Beckett, going against the Yankees is my dream scenario where it's 0-0 and it was 0-0 all the way through until I'm pretty sure it was Junichi Tazawa gave up a walk-off solo home run to A-Rod. It was perfect dream scenario for me. It was 15 innings of baseball. There's nothing better.
Yep, there's strategy to it, and the pitchers, and then using that, taxing your bullpen for the next game, especially if it's game one of a series or whatever. But the Ghost Runner, to me, I compare really directly. I think it's really similar to NHL shootouts, which obviously I'm a big hockey guy, and with the shootouts, it's more, I don't want to call it luck, but less strategy. At least with the Ghost Runner, it's like, okay, like, top half of the inning, you're playing small ball. They say you have to go for the big inning, and then if you hold them in the top half, then you play small ball, and it's a bunt, and it's a sac fly, and you go home. Yeah. But it takes away from the game a little bit, where it's like the Islanders, for example, we haven't won a shootout probably in like 2 years. We're the worst shootout team in hockey. I don't know what the metrics are or why or whatever it is, but the idea of becomes like baseball. You shoot in the top half, or you want to shoot in the bottom half, and the home team gets the pick or whatever. So to me, it just takes away from people like us who love the sport and its entirety and the ins and outs of it like this. I don't see it working well. Yeah. I don't like both things, Ghost Runner and the original conversation, the pitch clock. It feels like now you're rushing our sport. Yeah, and
you're rushing the art of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, it's not for more offense. It's not for more. It's for that final number to be 30 minutes less. But we're all used to it. We're used to 3-4 hour games in every sport. So tying it into the World Baseball Classic, are they using it in the World Baseball Classic? Do you know?
I really hope not. I couldn't answer that. I want to say no because I don't think all the other leagues or places, will get behind it. But I know they have their own governing body that would decide on that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. So obviously with that, spring training's underway. Take it into now, I guess there's been 2 big injuries so far. One on the field, one off the field. Both non-contact, whatever you want to call it. Gavin Lux, your boy, who's starting shortstop for the Dodgers, come into the season. But that was clear cut, right? No competition.
No competition. Corey Seager leaves 2 years ago to free agency. They have Trey Turner from the trade. Trey Turner leaves in free agency to the Phillies. Door is completely open for Lux. They got a little safety net of Rojas via trade from the Marlins in the offseason. Chris Taylor has played there loosely in the past, but has become more of a utility. Yep. And now they even said Rojas, Taylor, and Betts, all 3 of them are in complete limbo of what their season looks like based on how they're going to fill that role. Because you have a rookie at third base in Vargas, so you're expecting Muncy to DH and platoon with Freeman. Muncy now has to get reinserted into the field to either play third, second, or first on any given day. You're moving a lot of pieces around for probably the weakest team in recent Dodger years.
Yeah.
So he's cataclysmic. And then on the flip side, for the Padres, you lose your frontline starter that you signed to this big extension that wants to win, just sets his season back. But in reality, they should be jumping right now at the chance to, if they get off to a hot start, because Tatis looks like the real deal. Their pieces that they signed, I'm pretty sure David Dahl went yard yesterday. Padres are in real position to take advantage of a weaker Dodger team and get going.
Yeah, I guess it goes now to the other side of the coin with that second injury I was referring to in Joe Musgrove. Yeah. But I'm all in on the Padres possibly taking that division from the Dodgers, and then same thing with the Mariners overtaking that division from Houston. But now with the Padres, Joe Musgrove was my sleeper Cy Young pick, and I'm supposed to hate him because of last year and the whole ear hot sauce whatever thing with the Mets in the playoff game. I'm getting a couple kids in lessons that say I look like Joe Musgrove. I don't know, it's just because my name is Joe. I don't really see it. It's not the worst comparison I've gotten in the world, so I'm going to run with it. But he was my sleeper Cy Young pick, and then you probably know more of the story that he dropped a dumbbell on his toe.
Somebody, either him or a teammate, dropped a dumbbell.
God, that's bad.
Thanks, Train. I've done it in the weight room. My first couple months working here, I broke my finger dropping a weight in between it and another weight. So it happens, but it's rare and infrequent. So hopefully it wasn't a teammate doing it, because that would really suck.
Yeah. Sounds like he's done for at least a couple weeks, fully thrown. And by the time he rebuilds, there's no way he's their opening day start. Yeah,
that's honestly not terrible, but it's just step back, obviously.
4 or 5 starts from the guy you're paying $100
to. Yeah. Of course, in Aspen, yeah.
Yeah. So with that, I don't know how much you guys have started diving into teams and players. You could take it. If you have anything on the tip of your tongue, whether it's a Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, MVP, a team to make the playoffs, team to make a run, team to win the World Series, anything at all. I kind of already started with Joe Musgrove was. Thank God I didn't place it yet, but my NL Cy Young, and I'm going to ride that Angels team until I die. I talk about it all the time around here. Like, they have the two best, if not, depending on which Yankee fan you talk to, two of the three best players in baseball, and you're going to tell me that team can't win 85, 90 games and squeak into a wild card. So I will always take, I think their over for wins is 81.5. So it's literally they got to go 500, 82 and 80. They'll go 82 and 80. I think they're a little bit better than that. They could sneak into a playoff spot. I think Ohtani's gone regardless next year, but those are my two that I'll start with. Do you guys have any in mind?
Jordan Walker is the can't-miss guy right now for the Cardinals. Problem is, he's going to have to play out of position for them, so I think that lowers his stock on potential Rookie of the Year and play appearances and how that outfield shapes out, because to get into the little things of St. Louis, like we live there, Tyler O'Neill's trying to win that center field job. So there's a whole camp thing for them, where their rotation is. I think they end up taking the NL Central because of their lineup and the consistency in adding Contreras behind the plate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think the Brewers finally have a fall off. Their lineup isn't as consistent. I think their minor league's a couple years away.
Their ace is pissed off.
What?
Their ace is pissed off.
Yeah, Corbin Burns has a good chance of getting traded if things don't change quickly for them. That he's not going to want to be there now if that's how they're going to handle business. And arbitration's tough for everybody. I really like what Baltimore's going to pull out to flip to the AL. That I think if we're talking about a sleeper to get into a wild card and position themselves appropriately, like, it's them. Mm-hmm. I think their pitching's going to be better than people think. I think the youth in the field is going to play well. Like, Adley has a chance to be a top 3 catcher within 2 years of starting his career. We're really talking about Real Muto's the biggest name in his life.
Right. Who's the NL pitcher you were telling me about for Rookie of the Year? Because I always go with Mets and homegrown Kodai Senga, but pitcher in 31 doesn't look so great.
Andrew Painter.
There you go.
The Phillies' young right-handed pitcher. I think he's got a chance of breaking the spring with them, especially because they're going to have to rely on a lot of pitching to make up for the time that Harper's missing.
Right.
And it seems like their bats are all doing well, and Trey Turner has been great so far, but you need pitching to carry it early part of the season, even if it's a 6-man rotation to begin the year.
Yep.
Limit the innings. They got a lot of options there. And that division is going to be fun to watch. I think both Easts are going to be very entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, for me, I'm not I follow baseball, but I'm not as into it as you guys. I might be more now, obviously, with the show and you guys being into it as much. But we talk about Cy Youngs. In the AL, I'm going to be biased because he's my guy, and I just want him to be healthy so bad and have, like, a great year. I'm going with Luis Severino as the AL Cy Young. Now, obviously, it's going to be interesting for the Yankees because they have such a crazy rotation, obviously missing a 5th guy because Montas don't even start with that guy.
What about him? What happened?
Oh, dude. Oh, my God. So, yeah, give me Severino for that, and then NL. I mean, it's interesting because obviously I don't know. I'm missing some guys that could have a chance, but if I had to go off the top of my head, I'd probably go.
2 of the favorites are probably on the Mets.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was thinking about it. I was like, but I feel like that's too obvious, and I think Verlander takes a step back this year.
Do you want me to read a couple off for you?
Oh, dude, give me this would be funny.
I don't even want to hear this.
Jacob deGrom.
For the American League?
But he'd be American League, so. But no, NL.
I was going to kind of let him ride.
I know he's AL now, but I just want to listen.
I have it right here in front of you before you go crazy. So it's Sandy, Alcantara, Corbin Burns, Verlander, Scherzer, Strider are your top 5. Yeah. And then it goes a trio of NL East pitchers of Wheeler, Fried, and Nola. If that does anything for you. My boy Joe Musgrove was 10.
I'll take Fried. I'll take Fried for the NL. That's what I got for you.
What's his first name?
I was just going to ask him that.
Oh, wow.
I know his name.
That was quick.
I'm good.
That was quick.
I got a little knowledge.
Let's see how deep this knowledge goes.
No.
Where did he come from?
I don't even know where he came from.
No idea. Couldn't tell you.
I don't
Great
know
name,
the
though.
name.
Great baseball name.
Yeah.
Love it.
Glad you like it. Severino's way down there. Like,
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
think
Just
he-
give me
he's
the
on the list,
biased-
though, so that's hot.
Give
He's
me
got
the
odds.
biased. Yeah.
I think he's like 20th. I don't want to count all
So
that.
I'll put $2 on it.
All right, so so last thing we can talk about. I'll put you guys on the spot a little bit. I will go first. If you had to give me your ALCS and your NLCS, and the
Wow.
only reason I'm doing this because you did so well with football, and you called the Super Bowl
Imagine I come
back
back from
in
baseball.
November, right? It was October, November, so
Yeah.
months out. So now we're 7 months out. I'm gonna go a little bold, and I'll go Padres, Mets in the NL, and I'll go Mariners, Blue Jays in the AL.
Ooh.
So
The Blue Jays.
the bold take there is the Dodgers, Astros, Yankees all miss ALCS, NLCS.
That's crazy.
And then of course my unbiased pick, Toronto and the Mets. Mets over Toronto. Little sidebar. Verge had to step away for a second to talk to a client. He'll be back momentarily. So you're up.
Okay, so honestly, as a Yankee fan, like I went to a game last year, they won in extra innings, and in my head I was like, man, I don't know if this team's good enough to beat Houston. And this was like so early too, but it's just like every year you think about it because they just can't find a way to beat that team.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are saying, even though they lost Verlander, that they are better this year.
Yeah.
Because they already have so much pitching depth. Like so many guys stepped up last year, they look insane. So, for the ALCS, give me how. I mean, do I just go biased
I mean,
and just go back to Houston Yankees? Give me Houston Yankees and Yankees in 7 in the ALCS, and then NL I'll go Phillies. Ooh, this is tough. Who do I want as my second? Phillies, Padres, and I'll take the Padres, Yankees in the World Series, and I'm going with the pinstripes, of course.
Of course. So we have two
give me the
very
Yankees.
unbiased picks
Unbiased.
so far. Would you
Not
like
a
to
Yankees
add
fan.
to it? Is that Mets or Yankees on your hat? But that's Yankees, right?
Yankees.
Yeah, he was prepared for this.
He was
Yeah,
prepared.
because that's where I'm going for one of them.
Go ahead.
I'll go Yankees too. I don't think anyone from the AL Central is going to be really much of a threat.
I love that Guardians team, but I agree. Go ahead.
I just don't think they're built to go long enough.
Yeah, no worry about that.
As much as I want to pick against Houston, it's going to be tough. That lineup is fully there, and if not stronger now with the
Yeah.
addition of Jose Abreu.
So sick.
Yep.
For variety, I'll say Mariners.
So did I.
So,
Love your Mariners.
well, I didn't hear that part.
I went Mariners, Blue Jays, and I went Mets, Padres, and then I went Mets, Blue Jays.
Okay, so I'm going to go Yankees, Mariners. And for the NL, I'm going to go Cardinals. I think
Love
Jack Flaherty is the comeback player of the year and is the rightful ace of that staff. It's going to be a bloodbath in the NL East. And I just want to go Phillies because I was there all year. And screw the NL West in that case.
Yeah.
So, just for time's sake, Phillies, Cardinals. But we'll go Cardinals beat the Yankees in 6.
That hurts.
Love it.
Just
Love
for
it.
variety.
That's it. I'm all about variety. You know me. All right, last thing. You got about 5 minutes. We'll touch on World Baseball Classic, and then Matt, you'll get your 30 seconds of glory with some golf talk. Just looking at odds, I'm a numbers and odds and lines guy. It looks like it's a 4-man race: USA, DR, Japan, Puerto Rico.
Yep.
Then there's a pretty big drop off after that. I don't know if it's working here and being around Frank and Bobby and their ties to Japan and everything, but I just root for Japan and stuff like this now. I did it in the World Cup for soccer. I don't know why. It worked a little bit. They made it through and did the whole thing, whatever. And now here I'm gonna ride Japan because why not? I'm really bummed Christian Yelich isn't playing. Right?
Yep.
He was supposed to play for Japan because
There's
of
a
his
chance. He's
grandfather.
Like 1/8 something, yeah.
So a little damper on there, but I'm gonna rock Japan for
Hey, you got
literally
Lars
no
Nootbaar,
other
though.
reason. Huh?
Lars
You
Nootbaar.
got Lars Nootbaar.
Best last
Sure.
name in baseball.
There you go. So that's my pick.
It's right here, Yankees today, and now American flag. I'm going right back with that USA
You're really
team.
prepared for this, huh?
Very prepared, I guess. USA, I don't know how the brackets are all going to break out to say who they're going to beat. I just watched the highlights today of them beating up in the championship game, Puerto Rico. I think the only team that's really going to compete with them would be DR. And they're bat heavy. At some point, their pitching is not as deep and not as talented. So I'll take the USA and the USA pitching staff having a little more to say over all those teams.
Okay, here's the expert pick.
As an absolute expert in the World Baseball Classic, I would have to go with Puerto Rico. No reason at all. But everyone just know I called it. That's all I got for you.
That's it. All right.
Short and sweet.
All right, there's your...
We're having Israel. We're having Great Britain, the Netherlands.
I was feeling Great Britain a little bit, but then I looked at the roster.
I was going to say, I can just put all the teams on a dartboard. You can just throw a dart at it, and that could be your team.
But I'm definitely switching if it's...
All right, take your... we'll talk about being on the clock. Take your 30 seconds for golf.
All right, so I need some comments. Let me know if you guys care about golf or not, because a lot of people don't care about golf. But, I mean, in recent years, it's been more popular, so we'll see. This weekend, Bay Hill in Florida. Just wanted to give a couple picks. Obviously, John Rahm's the favorite. He's been playing crazy all year. I'm going Morikawa to win. And top 5, you got Rory in there, and you got Spieth in there as my little sleeper pick. So that's what I got in Florida.
So you want to go half and half, or do you want to lean one way?
Max home with a win.
No, it's not California. He doesn't have it.
Do you want to, in the future, go down the middle with this, or lean one way or the other in terms of the actual golf being played, or which would make Anthony Conti very happy, the education piece, and you want to teach people how to hold the golf club, do the whole everything you've taught me since now I'm
give me
half decent golfer.
Listen, when we're doing these videos in 3 more years, and I'm actually a decent golfer,
and you have your own channel, and
yeah, exactly.
3 years or 30 years?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Depends on how many hours I get off to go golf.
You can have all the hours you want off.
That's what I got.
With that, that does it for us today. Next week will be episode 20. We'll probably be recording Tuesday, which is day 1, night 1. The times are all weird for the World Baseball Classic, right? Don't they play at 10 o'clock at night and 5 o'clock in the morning? So rolling, just all baseball. So us 3 will more or less be the staples moving forward.
That's only if Joe actually returns from his trip.
That is very true. You'll either see me next week very full of life and ready to roll, or I'll just be hood on, just depressed. So one way or the other, but either way, we will see you next week.